As April 2025 unfolds, the political atmosphere in Washington, D.C. has once again erupted into chaos, with Representative Ilhan Omar Signalgate, one of the Democratic Party's most outspoken progressive voices, reportedly drafting articles of impeachment targeting senior figures in the Trump administration. Dubbed Signalgate by the press, this unfolding scandal has sparked a fierce debate over national security, accountability, and the razor-thin line between personal blunders and political consequences. Known for her fearless approach and unwavering principles, Omar has thrust herself into the center of a confrontation that could reshape the American political landscape in the months ahead. The genesis of Signalgate. The saga began with what seemed like an innocuous mistake, one that in a different context might have been laughed off as a quirky footnote. Instead, it spiraled into a full-blown crisis. A Signal Group chat, a platform prized for its encryption and privacy, included some of the administration's heaviest hitters: Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe. These officials were allegedly using the chat to discuss highly sensitive military plans, including potential strikes on Yemen, an operation that, if real, would carry profound geopolitical implications. The chat might have remained a secret, buried in the digital ether, if not for a stunning blunder. A journalist was accidentally added to the group. What followed was a leak that sent shockwaves through the Capitol. Screenshots of the conversation surfaced, revealing not just the casual tone of the exchange, but also the apparent disregard for the gravity of the topics at hand. For critics, it was a glaring example of recklessness at the highest levels of government. For supporters, it was an overblown misstep being weaponized by political foes. Omar takes the stage. Enter Ilhan Omar, a lightning rod in American politics since her election in 2018. Never one to shy away from a fight, Omar seized on Signalgate as a rallying cry. Reports indicate she is drafting impeachment articles, with her primary target appearing to be Pete Hegseth, the embattled defense secretary. In public statements, she has minced no words, accusing Hegseth of gross incompetence and blatantly illegal actions that, in her view, render him unfit to oversee the nation's military. This isn't just a mistake, she reportedly told colleagues. It's a betrayal of the trust Americans place in their leaders. While the specifics of her impeachment articles remain under wraps, they are likely to hinge on the constitutional standard of high crimes and misdemeanors. This broad category doesn't require a criminal conviction. It can encompass abuses of power, negligence, or conduct that undermines the public's faith in government. Omar's case could argue that discussing classified military operations on an unsecured platform, despite Signal's encryption, the human error of adding an outsider negates its security, constitutes such a breach. Whether she extends her net to Waltz or Ratcliffe remains unclear, but Hegseth, as the most visible figure, seems to be the focal point. The political calculus, Omar's gambit is bold, but it's not without risks or obstacles. Republicans currently hold a majority in the House of Representatives, and impeachment requires a simple majority there to proceed to the Senate. Even if she manages to rally every Democrat, she'd need a handful of GOP defectors to cross the aisle, a tall order in today's hyper-partisan climate. In the Senate, the bar is even higher. A 2/3 vote, or 67 senators, is needed to convict and remove an official. With the chamber closely divided, that threshold feels like a distant dream for Democrats unless public outrage reaches a fever pitch. Still, Omar has a few cards up her sleeve. One potential move is a privilege motion, a parliamentary maneuver that could force a House vote on her impeachment articles within days. This would put Republicans in a bind. Vote against it and risk appearing to defend negligence, or vote for it and fracture party unity. It's a classic pressure play, designed less to win outright and more to expose fault lines in the opposition. Beyond the procedural gamesmanship, Omar's effort could galvanize the Democratic base and keep Signalgate in the headlines, amplifying public unease. And the public is uneasy. Early polling suggests a majority of Americans, across party lines, are troubled by the idea of top officials hashing out military strategy on a messaging app, encrypted or not. The optics are disastrous. A government entrusted with safeguarding the nation caught fumbling its own secrets. For Omar and her allies, this is a golden opportunity to paint the administration as reckless and unfit. The bigger picture. Signalgate is more than a single scandal. It's a microcosm of the broader tensions gripping American politics. It pits the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, embodied by Omar, against a Trump administration that thrives on defiance and shrugs off convention. It raises thorny questions about technology's role in governance. In an era of instant communication, how do leaders balance efficiency with security? And it tests the limits of impeachment itself, a tool that has been wielded with increasing frequency, but rarely with success. For now, the ball is in Omar's court. Her next steps, whether she files the articles, rallies support, or pivots to another strategy, will determine whether Signalgate becomes a footnote or a defining chapter in the Trump era. Hegseth and his colleagues, meanwhile, are digging in, dismissing the controversy as a partisan witch hunt. The White House has remained largely silent, perhaps hoping the storm will blow over. But if Ilhan Omar has anything to say about it, this is just the beginning. In a city where power is won through persistence and spectacle, she's betting that Signalgate can be more than a scandal. It can be a reckoning.